talked down to him when he was there and so on and so forth. And when Isaiah first got there, they actually were hanging out a little bit and it was cool, but it soured pretty quickly. So this is real. I understand your point. You're right. It's human nature for Isaiah to be upset. That doesn't mean you come out publicly and say it. Look, he's a man. If he wants to battle LeBron James and push back, that's his prerogative. That's fine. My thing is, for your career, for you on the free agent market this summer, this does not help your cause. You are not going to win a battle with LeBron James. Nobody in the league, even if you're right, because people know LeBron is high maintenance. Well, they know it's tough to play with him. Still, he is a three-time champion. I got you, he is the best player in the world. Nobody's going to side with Isaiah on that.
Somebody took on LeBron and beat LeBron.
Kyrie?
If
he beat him in May, he beat LeBron. Otherwise, he hasn't beat LeBron
But he
yet.
beat LeBron from the standpoint, he stood up and said, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Everybody in the NBA, I'm talking about media, they crushed Kyrie. You know they did after that trade.
Okay, but
right?
look.
And now who looks better when Cleveland burnt down and they had to trade everybody?
It looks good for Kyrie right now.
Okay.
It looks good for him, but he has to beat LeBron in the playoffs to win this trade, if you will. But you're also talking about a different caliber of player. I mean, Kyrie Irving and Isaiah Thomas are on different levels. And so, look, Isaiah, this shows when you're going to a team that needs leadership, they need veteran leadership. They need, you need to show them that you can fit in there or show some other team you can fit in. If you're still caught up in liking Instagram posts by Kyrie and battling with LeBron, that shows that your priority is on yourself and your perception and your pride and ego rather than on helping this team. And all I'm saying is, rightly or wrongly, that's not going to help Isaiah on the free agent market.
Okay. I agree with you somewhat, but no. This is I don't mind the pushback. I don't mind the pushback at all.
You push back on Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
This is the man who pushed back on Aaron Rodgers. Nobody had taken on Aaron Rodgers.
And you talk about your pride being in the way. Yes, your pride is definitely present, but you're not solely thinking just about yourself. You still want to win, but you still want to have the career that you were having in Boston. I was in Green Bay. I still felt like I could still do those different things. But when it comes to Isaiah Thomas, anytime you go in transition and it's not the transition that you wanted or you didn't call for it, you're going to praise the where you end up. When he got to Cleveland, he was excited, ecstatic, enthusiastic about this opportunity. Now he's in LA, and now he's saying, man, I'm excited. I got my joy back. I can finally be me. I'm practicing for the first time. This is not the first time players have taken shots at the Cavaliers. When you look at Kyrie Irving, when he left, he didn't take a whole bunch of shots, but he said some things about the coaching style in that environment that led us to believe that, man, what is he really getting at? Kyrie made the statements of craving an intellectual coach. Why? Because probably they're not practicing. He can't take my game to the next level. When you practice, that's an extension of the classroom. That's where you make mistakes. That's where you can try things. Then you take the practice test. It still happens in the classroom. The game is the test. When you look at a guy who's coming off his injury, the number one thing he needed was practice. He wanted to practice. He wanted to get bumped.
But LeBron was too old for practice.
It's not.
Oh, you got plenty of other guys.
No, but I'm just
you can get your work in.
Okay, but
you have to be able to. You have to be able to practice, especially when you've turned into a younger team. This is why I don't have any pushback, or I don't mind the pushback, because even Jay Crowder, I mentioned this yesterday. Jay Crowder even talked about him being excited to play in the system. It's not just LeBron. It's Tyronn Lue and the structure that he's conformed. LeBron is the only one that really praises it, and then the guys who kind of follow suit, they're going to say, yeah, what he said.
But it's about, look, is Jay Crowder or Isaiah Thomas going to win this battle?
No, it's not about.
Ultimately, it's about winning. I get it. And man to man, If you want to step to LeBron at the All-Star weekend and be like, look, man, you came at me the wrong way. What you talking about? Work hard, whatever. But publicly, I don't think it helps a guy that's 5'8", coming off a hip injury, didn't play well in Cleveland. That's not going to help him get with another team.
Wait a minute,
That's the number one thing that should be on his mind.
But you're different from this standpoint. We're all older. You're not a millennial. That's how they express themselves. That whole stuff is a part of their lives.
But guess who else aren't millennials?
No, but I'm
the people running these teams.
I understand that.
I'm trying to help Isaiah get a job and get a decent salary next year.
That's not how these guys operate. They don't look at it that way because most of the time you would say, why would you go do that? Because that's how they operate. It's not the same.
Let me put this in perspective really quick. LeBron started this. Let's not forget LeBron. No. Wait. Because this touches me in a different place. Because when I left Green Bay, I didn't start all the banter. I didn't start this. Aaron started it. He said some things first, and then I took it on and went to a whole nother level and should have stopped. I should have. And this is what we're going to see.
Your pride got in the way.
Absolutely, 100%. Your pride gets in the way because you feel like you're being attacked and that you were the reason. When I look at Isaiah Thomas, he believes that he's very confident. We know that. So he doesn't believe that he's the reason why Cleveland was struggling. He doesn't believe that I wasn't willing to work.
But he's been blamed for it,
exactly.
And that's how he feels. Like, I'm the reason.
Because LeBron wasn't able to work with him. And so when you look at it, what other mega superstars does what LeBron does?
Nobody controls the league like LeBron.
Did Jordan ever talk bad about his teammates, whether they stayed or left? Kobe,
he had fights with his teammates. Kobe had arguments with teammates.
But it was ball related. It was because I want the best for you. Steve Kerr and Jordan got into it. It was competition driven. It wasn't just.
Look, that's my point. A lot of superstars are not fun to play with. Jordan was darn near a bully in that locker room. And when he in Chicago, you know what everybody said? Yo, we on the gravy train. We riding this to championships. We rock stars. We'll take it. He did the same thing in Washington, and I hate to say hated him, but locker room they weren't getting Jordan by the time he left. Because he was the same guy but couldn't win.
Right, but also it was younger guys, right, who hadn't seen that winning side of him, and they pushed back the way that they knew.
If Jordan could have led them to championships, they would have gotten in line too.
They couldn't even make the playoffs.
Isaiah Thomas, the original Bill Laimbeer. He gets in a fight with Bill Laimbeer. He's at odds with Adrian Dantley, who was a great player. That people think he got him traded out of Detroit.
Absolutely.
I mean, top Magic Johnson got Paul Westhead fired. Like, this stuff happens with superstars. And I'm telling you, Isaiah Thomas is not going to win this public battle in the front offices of the NBA. And those are the people that he needs to be catering to get his deal next summer.
All right, let's talk a little NFL, guys. In a story yesterday that we were divided on, it keeps evolving here. The Patriots fired back at Eagles offensive lineman Lane Johnson after he criticized New England's culture by calling the Patriot Way a fear-based organization. And he added that he'd rather have fun winning one Super Bowl than be miserable and win 5 Super Bowls. Yes, we discussed that yesterday. Now, former Patriot great Teddy Bruschi said that he had a lot of fun winning 3 Super Bowls, and current Patriot linebacker Marquise Flowers tweeted that Lane is full of hot air and 5 Super Bowls are more fun than 1. All right, I have several things here. 1, Flowers spent all day on Twitter firing back. Dude, find a hobby. 2, let's look bigger picture here. Greg.
But Flowers hasn't won a Super Bowl, right? Because he was on the team this year.
Y'all gonna kill Marquise.
He was hopeful.
Flowers.
He was very hopeful.
Y'all gonna kill Marquise Flowers.
No, I'm just saying.
He came very close.
Dude, get off of Twitter when you don't even have a Super Bowl. What are you
He's a millennial. That's what they do.
He spent all day on there. All right, Flowers. Okay, Greg, here we go. Let's look bigger picture. The Eagles and Patriots are early Super Bowl favorites for next year. So which team has a better chance to win it all, Philly or New England? And this is a little premature, but let's look big picture.
Very premature. But when you look at the landscape of the NFL, the league, the Patriots have the better chance of returning to the Super Bowl. And Rob, I know you probably don't agree with that. Because
you don't agree. Even if you did,
exactly, you would go the opposite side. But here's why: when you look at the Patriots' path to get there. They're in a division that they have dominated. They played the Bills twice. They played the Dolphins twice. They played the Jets twice.
That's the AFC least.
That's the,
But hey, that's what they're
I
in.
like that. The AFC least. The reason why the Patriots have been so successful is because they beat up on their guys in the division, and then their path from the end of December and all of January, they're at home for the playoffs, and you have to travel to Foxborough, and it's a tough task asking a young team or a talented team. It doesn't matter. Not too many teams are able to be successful going to Foxborough and dethroning the champs. When you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, do they have shots at dethroning them? Yes. But have they done it? No. And so until we can see a Baltimore Ravens team like with Ray Lewis and those guys take it to them in Foxborough, they have the easier path. When you look across the conference, the NFC, it's a lot more parity. When you look at the New Orleans Saints, could have easily beat the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings could have beat the Eagles. The Eagles have in their division a Dallas Cowboy team that probably will be a lot better this year.
Haven't won a championship.
I get all of that. I get all that. I mean, the Eagles just won their first one. Come on now. Let's not get too carried away. And then you have not only that, the Giants, they only need a few pieces and then they're back. But the road to getting there is a lot more challenging and difficult for the Eagles. Not saying that they don't have the talent, because they definitely have the talent to do it, but there are a lot more formidable teams in the NFC that will challenge them. The Carolina Panthers. These aren't teams that are going away. The Atlanta Falcons. Teams are improving in the NFC. And when you look at their paths to getting there, their road is a lot more challenging and rocky than when you look across the conference in the AFC and look at what the New England Patriots have to go through to get to the AFC Championship game and then to the Super Bowl.
I hear you 100%. It all makes sense, but here's the difference. First of all, because I would pick the Eagles over the Patriots.
You would pick the Eagles over the Patriots just off of merit alone.
Anybody.
I'm going from this standpoint. You're still rocking with a which will be a 41-year-old quarterback. I'm just telling you.
You were saying a year ago that he was terrible in the first three quarters of the Super Bowl. He's done.
When did that ever come into to matter this year? His age.
In the Super Bowl, he couldn't hold on to the ball. That was
Rosie.
That was age-based. That was age-based. He couldn't hold on to the ball when he got hit.
Wow.
But also, they're an older team. The Patriots, I think, are the second oldest team as far as the NFL. And also, the other thing is, their defense, everybody was so shocked at what happened, but their defense was 24th last year. They gave up 42 points in game one and 41 in the Super Bowl. It reared its ugly head. That team defensively was still there and still an issue. When you talk about the Eagles, this is what makes them impressive to me. There's not many football teams that can lose their starting quarterback who was en route to winning an MVP, right? And when Carson Wentz got hurt. You lose your left tackle, your middle linebacker. Usually when that happens, you're done. They had the fourth best defense in the league, and we saw what they were able to do as far as offensively, scoring points, trick plays, everything that they do. Don't get me wrong. You're right. The path in the NFC is tougher. There's no doubt about it. More teams, better quarterbacks, no doubt. But the Eagles are definitely going to be somebody to be reckoned with, because now you get to go back to that quarterback who was having that MVP season. You know what I mean? And those other guys who were missing get to come back and be a part of it. So it's almost like you're adding to a team that just won a Super Bowl with three good players who weren't around to help you win it.
Rob, I hear you, but the path is everything.
Path.
They are a great team, and they're constructed very well. I mean, we saw what they were able to overcome, all the adversities, all the injuries. We saw all of that. But when we talk, the question is, who has the better chance of getting back.
I'm not rocking with the 41-year-old quarterback who can't hold on
Who
to the
just
ball
threw
anymore.
for 500 yards in the Super Bowl. Look, the question was, which team would you bet on winning another Super Bowl quickest, right?
Right, next.
I've got to
Getting back to the Super Bowl.
Getting back or winning it?
Getting back.
I'm thinking winning it, but getting back, whatever. I say New England. In fact, I'm saying they're going to win it next year.
There you are. You're a
Because they're
New
going to
England
come
homer.
back. They're going to come back upset that they didn't close the deal this year, just like they were upset about Deflategate and get it done. And you talked about all the players the Eagles lost. Well, didn't Tom Brady lose Julian Edelman? Last year, didn't they lose Rob Gronkowski and won the Super Bowl? Teams do not repeat as Super Bowl champions anymore in the age of free agency. Most teams. Guess who does occasionally? The last team to repeat as a Super Bowl champion. Who?
I don't know.
New England
Jets?
Patriots. The last team to win 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. The New England Patriots. The last team to win 3 in 4 years. New England. They are a team that you cannot count out until Tom Brady is when they won 3 out of 4. My point is, every year you can count on the New England Patriots of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady being there.
Chris, they went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl, and
everybody else went decades without winning Super Bowls.
And the last 2 Super Bowls could easily have been lost.
And this one could have been a win. I mean, we can argue, fans are butts. We can argue that all we want. They could have won this year. I'm saying, look, Philadelphia, to your point, the NFC, that's going to be tough. Carson Wentz, how healthy is he going to be? You know, it's not easy for a quarterback to come off an ACL, not to mention his playing style makes him susceptible. He was great. He was going to be the MVP. But he's susceptible maybe to another injury. Maybe he's going to be conscious of changing his style a little bit, and that could throw him off a little bit. What if they lose a few games? Does there become a quarterback controversy, at least with the fans, if not the organization? So there are a lot of things that I think will keep them from winning it.
The NFC alone, it's going to be difficult. We haven't had a returning Super Bowl contender out of the NFC since I don't even know when. Like, to get there 2 years in a row. Like, it's that hard in that conference. When you talk about injuries. Green Bay Packers didn't have an Aaron Rodgers, so you got Aaron Rodgers coming back. You got in your own division, you got Odell. The Giants were riddled with injury after injury after injury, and so you have all these players.
But they still have Eli Manning.
They still have who won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, past tense. Those days
I mean,
are over.
but no. You can't just throw out what someone has done. He's still an affordable quarterback.
Have you seen his
last 7 years,
the last of his numbers?
I have. I totally have. I have, but he can still get it done because of the talent that he has outside on the perimeter. My point is, the NFC is so difficult to maneuver and to get through, to get back even to the NFC Championship game, let alone get to the Super Bowl and win it all. The Patriots' path, I get it. I'm an Eagles fan. I chose them to win this Super Bowl. But when we're not talking about the talent on teams and the age of the teams. They're constructed very well. But when you have a Robert Kraft and a Bill Belichick, who specifically Bill Belichick, who has run an organization and has put the personnel in place year after year after year, you're telling me that other teams has a better opportunity to now get there and win it all?
Yep. Let me tell you, Rome fell, New England fell in this past Super Bowl. Things changed at some point, and Bill Belichick isn't that emperor anymore that he was.
Really?
That's his specialty, is defense. Bill Belichick defense gave up 41 points to a backup quarterback and lost the Super Bowl, and I'm supposed to sit here and go, oh, yeah, Bill Belichick and the Patriots are going to be back next year with a 41-year-old quarterback who can't hold on to the ball late in games anymore. I'm looking at this. They are not the same team. I know it's easy to pick them because nobody wants to respect the Jacksonville Jaguars, who led 20-10.
That's not
going
true.
into the fourth quarter. People don't want to respect those
It's
teams.
looking at the Patriots' track record. That's
Exactly.
what-
Until you
can't make a
dethrone
great bet
them,
against
you can't go against them.
I love how you're so quick to discount everything. You're so hard to please.
Didn't you ever hear of the discount double check?
Exactly. Who was that?
That's your man.
Oh my God.
And he back.
That's for next segment. Or never. I don't know. I don't care if we ever get back to that. Will Baker Mayfield be a bust in the NFL? Johnny Manziel has some strong opinions on it. What he said coming up next. Don't go anywhere.